So essentially, in understanding the function of gender, what we come to see is that the masculine principle across the board, the function of the masculine is to direct the flow, direction, where the function of the feminine principle is to be the flow, be the manifestation of the flow that is being directed. So on one hand, we have intention that is being planted. On the other hand, we have development and evolution of that intention. So when I say they're two halves of one whole, that's what we're talking about with gender. One thing plants the seed, the other thing develops the seed and gives birth to the seed. So we've got to get out of our minds anything about one being more important than the other, one being less than the other, because like I said, they're two functioning halves of the same whole. They don't operate without each other. Now, they operate on different levels with each other. For example, one seed can be planted in multiple gardens, right? And vice versa, one garden can contain multiple types of seeds. So again, it's not one better than the other. It's just what's going on in the specific relationship. Now, when we talk about this being manifested on the subtle layers, we're talking more of a mental thing. And we go more into that on the next chapter. But the same principle applies here. The directive force of consciousness would be the masculine principle, and the developing force of matter would be the feminine principle. So obviously, we're going back to the Vedic information where we see that Shiva would be consciousness and the masculine principle, and Shakti would be the feminine principle, which is matter. One directs the flow and one develops the flow. This is gender in a nutshell. I think it goes without saying that we see this manifested in human beings as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. I was reading ahead on the other chapter in what you were just talking about, and the mental planes, but it seemed like it's reversed in the mental plane. It says that most people, like 90% of people, are just using the feminine aspect of the brain. And that's why they can be controlled by people that are using the masculine aspect or the will. You know, because one was like the will and the other was like, I can't remember what the other thing was, but it was just cool to see how it was reversed. And they was talking about how most people, you know, don't have original thoughts. And those original thoughts come from like, you know, your willpower or your mental, the mental gender of the masculine principle. Now,
absolutely.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I've did at least 2 or 3 videos on that part alone because it's so, the implications of it are so profound. Because like you said, most people are only operating in the feminine aspect of their mental realm, which is, like I said, receiving and developing. Whereas when we deal with things like willpower and intention, that would be the masculine aspect. Everyone thinks that they have their own intentions, but truly, as we've hinted at and spoken at for the past few months, intention can... The question is, where do your intentions come from? Where do your wants and needs come from? They come from somewhere else.
Yes.
So they're not really your intentions. They're intentions that you're developing. But that's the way of the world. Nothing is categorized as better or worse. This is how things are.
Yeah, but you're right. When you say that's the way of the world, I mean that's just how it works. And you know, you could see that through. I mean, I've said it, you know, several times. Just, you know, civilization and culture. You know what I mean? It's you know, like I've realized within myself that the person that I've built, the person that goes under the moniker of stuff, is an amalgamation of things that I saw that were outside of me, you know, that resonated with me. But, you know, I'm trying to find the original things that was me, you know, getting to the core of that, because all of that stuff is stuff that you got to shed anyway, because that's not you. That's not who I am. You know what I mean? Those are things that was generated under the name that I was given. Or that was things that I took on under the name that I was given, but that's not me. That's almost like a character that I'm playing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is all a game, all a play. Now, it's a play that we're in, still has to be played.
Yes.
It's a game. It's all a
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, and I think that was a big realization too, because that did make me realize that it was all a game. It's like, this is nothing but an avatar or a meat suit or a space suit, a suit to walk around in this space. You know what I mean? And you attach all of these things to it, and most people think that's who they are. And shit, I was in the same place. I'm just recently realizing that over the past, few years that, that's not exactly who I am. That's just the role that I'm playing right now. And I can see that in other people too, the role that they're playing in my life, in my swirl. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're playing a certain role in my world, in my existence, and I can see that. And you can almost like play with that a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's meant to be. Yeah, that's the function of it, to be played with, I suppose. Either that or you're going to be played. Like, again, it's a game. As they say in some circles, it's a game, and you're either playing it or you're being played. So, recognizing the rules is of paramount importance.
Right. I mean, it's energy if you think about it in the form of energy, which this whole chapter was talking about, the positive and negative, or the feminine and the masculine, which positive and negative is kind of obsolete now. But the feminine and the negative, those are just, movements of the energy. And like you said, you are energy. So if you're not using your energy, something else is. But the energy will get used no matter if you want it to or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It will get used whether you want it to or not. Before you know anything about it and after you're finished.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially the monikers that we go under. Look at Michael Jackson. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at those people. Those people been gone for a long time, and those not avatars, but those characters that they built up, they still have power. They still hold weight in this world today. You know what I mean? But those people, the thing that was in them that made them, that is gone, but it was so powerful that it still is generating that energy right now.
Well, I think that's because those are patterns. Those are patterns that play out. Like when we say that we're out of control, we really are out of control because all we are patterns. That's how the energy continues to get played out. It's just the same thing. It's just the same personas over and over and over again until that karma has been played out.
Good afternoon, Alora.
Hey, what's up?
Patterns upon patterns. What is control?
Yeah, because that's where you get your main functions of gender, right? Of masculine and feminine. Feminine's the action. Masculine is the direction. Direction of what? Action of what? Your patterns. The patterns of energy. The way how these realms work.
Hence how we have the real possibility to change our patterns. But it starts with implementing them, directing them. Otherwise, we're just playing out what's already, the directives given to us already.
Right. We're already given a direction. It's a matter of, I think we talked about this last time, but it's a matter of becoming aware of that and then making those small changes within yourself so you can become more of the navigator than of just the pawn.
All right, usually a plant is both masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
And then when we deal with animals on like the lower scale, they also are both depending on the context. It isn't until we get to really solid and concrete, complex organisms, physical organisms, that we become polarized. So the rest of existence, which is damn near 90% of existence, is not solid and concrete or polarized. In other words, it's mixed, depending on the context. It serves a purpose. So when we're talking about the realms that are not physical, they're going to be either or depending on the relation of the realm that they're working with. For example, if we're talking about the etheric plane, it is going to be masculine to the physical plane. But if we're talking about the astral plane, the etheric is feminine to the astral. In other words, like Dion Fortune illustrated for us, this is actually Ophiel. The plane above is always going to be masculine to the plane below. The plane below is always going to be feminine to the plane above, almost as if the seed has to go down into the ground to produce. In other words, the etheric plane is going to be masculine to the physical, but it's feminine to the astral because the astral is above it.